Hi, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm John, and we're going to do a brief addition to the course on Lift You Up, Port You Down, talking about how to adapt the program or how to adapt this to help to strengthen the immune system, and to give you a couple of little bits that you can add in that are going to help you to actually take the idea of strengthening the immune system into daily life or into other types of practice.
Yeah, it just feels that at this time of the human existence, using some useful practical tools just to keep your immune boosted could be a very good idea.
Yeah,
exactly.
But then saying that, we have got to be cautious in this area, because sometimes we can take on a practice in order to not get something or to not do something, and then the thing that we're trying not to get becomes the drive for the practice. So we've got to be cautious in the way that we do this. So although obviously we're looking very much at the coronavirus and COVID-19 at this particular time, if the purpose of the practice is to fight COVID-19, COVID-19 will be within your practice. So therefore it's important that what we're focusing on here is just boosting the immune system and making sure that the system is healthy and able to deal with outside influences.
Yeah, one of the principal tenets of Zhineng Qigong is this idea: just let go. Just let go of the problem. Don't focus on it. Don't make it the center. We're just letting the whole body dissolve, relax, soften, and that the idea is that then you're just imagining a fantastic, healthy immune system afterwards.
Yeah.
Everything working well, so it doesn't relate to anything in particular. It relates to everything. Perfect working order.
Yeah, and if you take this practice and you work with it and you overcome something like COVID-19, or once this particular epidemic has passed, we don't want this practice to be irrelevant. We want this practice to still have relevance and these ideas to still have relevance. And when you come into times of year that flu, for example, becomes more of a thing, coming into the winter, this type of addition to the practice can really help your overall health.
So what are your favourite tools? What are you bringing to the party?
I think from the idea of the intention around La Qi, La Qi, to be honest, and just the simple expand out and gather back, it's such a flexible practice. You can put all kinds of things into it. So for me, if I want to boost the immune system, one of the things that I would tend to go for is looking at enhancing the white blood cells. And so bone marrow being the place that the white blood cells are produced from, we can have an idea as we expand out of being actually within a bone, and seeing just this bright, efficient marrow.
Yeah.
And then just drawing back this image of the marrow is healthy, the immune system is strong, it's got a great foundation. And I think just using those ideas are really, really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, in Chinese medicine, there's aspects of immune system in liver, and there's aspects of immune system in spleen as well. And liver and spleen are kind of almost seen as being sort of twins, separated, two halves almost doing, a lot of fairly similar things. So if included in your kind of imagery is the idea as well of, dissolving liver, dissolving spleen, this whole area just let go, and then bringing back perfect working liver, perfect working spleen, perfect working marrow. All of those are going to be positive things.
Yeah, and also I think one of the things that's useful for this is finding something that works for you. What works for you? If talking about the bone marrow doesn't have any resonance with you, don't worry about it. But if you look at something and you find out that actually the best way to boost my immune system is by focusing onto this particular thing, then get images of that thing, get ideas of that thing, and as you expand out, engage with that thing. And obviously we're talking internally, we're not talking about, or the latest drug that you can take from such and such. We are talking about the internal work here. But then, it really is, what is the image that you want to use?
That's it, exactly. And so there's another video on our YouTube site which is about doing big La Qi, which is getting your whole body involved in it. There's also, I think, there's mention of La Qi all the way through our work, which is just a very, very simple sitting, standing, lying down. You don't even have to move your hands apart when you're thinking about dissolving and bringing it back. You can just use your mind to make this happen. Just sort of sit there quietly on a bus somewhere, just imagining yourself dissolving out into the beauty of the universe, letting go of all the problems, and then when you're coming back, just seeing whatever part you're working on, perfect working order, everything fixed.
And so from a pure Zhineng Qigong perspective, it's a great way to go forward. But I think there are other couple of pieces that we can look at, because I think there's actually quite a lot of worry about the current situation. And so finding ways to actually settle the mind is a useful tool in this. And the other thing is taking it out of the realms of Shineng Qigong and looking at the pure medical and elemental work. We can actually address things from that point of view. So are there tools there that you can use?
That's it. So there's a very, very simple tool that they use in medical Qigong. And the idea is, I don't know how much your sort of anatomy lessons work, but it's like your lungs are a bit like bags with broccoli stuffed upside down inside.
Nice.
So you imagine all this little alveoli on the end of the broccoli, that's the sort of the bit that breathes in. And so what you're doing is you're just using a tone with your mouth, and it's great to find that your body has ways of making vibrations that actually help you, you know. So you can actually make the sound, you don't need any tools or tuning forks or anything. You just hiss through your teeth like a snake. And you're at the same time also you're doing sort of deep breathing, which is obviously very useful. But the idea is that in Chinese medicine, there's this kind of energy, this type of qi that kind of coats around your body, but also coats the inside of your lungs. So if there's any kind of airborne virus going through, it's almost like a sort of a force field, and they call it Wei Qi. And so you hear a lot about Wei Qi at the moment in connection with viruses and so forth. And the way to build it up is to boost your lung energy, vibrate inside your lungs, and you just do it simply by hissing through your teeth. So you can also have your hands on your lungs or in front of your lungs. You just take a big breath in, and then you just do one more. Breathe in. And so clearly it's a good thing for getting the lungs kind of expanding and contracting.
Yeah, you can really feel them working. When
the vibrations are tingling inside.
Amazing, yeah. I love that.
Yes, it's quite useful. It's a simple thing to do. You can do it in public. Don't do it at London Zoo.
Yeah, if you want to get on in a queue, maybe just stand behind somebody and hiss gently.
That's right, and it will scare your cat, I can guarantee that. But yeah, so that's a really simple one to do. How about you?
I quite like the idea that if you look at the idea of Wei Qi, we are talking about the lung meridians, we're talking about the metal meridians, and they terminate in the thumb and the first finger. And so if you look at quite a lot of the metal forms, so there's a bird form that opens that space in the hand, that opens here. And although we're quite limited on space here, if you look at the bird form, if you open the arms out, when you take that as an in-breath, when you lift the thumb, it helps more breaths come in.
You're sort of opening up the lung channels.
So you can open the lung channels just by lifting the thumbs. And again, this isn't practical in a supermarket queue. Not that people would be wanting to go to a supermarket just at the moment, but actually just this action of open the thumbs and take an in-breath opens up the lung channels, and opening up the lung channels strengthens the lungs. I think we can get quite concerned at times like this that we don't want to let too much air in case there's stuff going on. Yeah. But actually you want to make that stuff work. You want to get everything working. To me that's a really nice one.
And then what you were doing there, which is part of the one of the medical Qigong exercises, is as you sort of breathing in, you're moving your shoulders back. And as you're breathing out, your shoulders naturally go forwards, and that actually mechanically massages your lungs as well.
Yeah.
And so
it's like La Qi for the lungs, isn't it?
It is like La Qi for the lungs. I was going to say exactly that. I was going to say in our Lift Qi Up, Pour Qi Down, we have exactly the same thing. So in the main Shineng Qigong set we teach, the whole idea of sort of stretching, pushing out and opening the lungs here, and drawing in, pushing out, as in expanding out into the universe, as we've just been talking about with La Qi, and then drawing in from the universe deep inside, fresh Qi inside your lungs. So actually built into to Lift Qi Up and Pour Qi Down is some great lung exercises. Lung meridians flowing in the arm. So by doing this, the Lift Qi Up, Pour Qi Down set, you're going to be really benefiting yourself as well.
It's all in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the final piece that we mentioned about the anxiety and the busyness of mind that we get around it. Again, you can point to La Qi as a very powerful tool for this, but actually I find that sometimes when the mind is really busy, La Qi sometimes isn't quite enough. Sometimes you need to have a little bit more to do. And so I quite like the act of on the in-breath, we can allow that to rise up and the out-breath to sink down. And this, you allow that to travel through the whole of the body. So again, it will activate the lungs, but this here, it's like a slow motion sigh. And that helps to really settle you. So if you take the hand movement away from it and just allow that to be the breath, so the in-breath naturally just rises up through the body and the out-breath just releases down the front of the body. You really only need to do that once or twice in order to settle yourself. And, you know, if things are starting to get a bit busy, if stuff's going on, you need a bit of perspective. And it's not about ignoring anything, it's just about putting everything into its right place. These types of techniques that help to settle and center us, I really have come across nothing that's as powerful as that.
And then at the end, just put your hands on your belly. That's all that's needed. Just to sort of feel like you've finished doing your exercise and to kind of gather yourself together. Hold yourself in, as it were. Hold all this good chi inside you. So you could do 5 minutes of breathing exercises, 5 minutes of calming exercises, a bit of stretching in the arms, and then just bringing yourself back to here. And that would be fantastic to boost your immune. Keep it healthy.
That's the one.
Great.
And see us through the place that we're in at the moment. So
Fantastic.
Well, thank you for listening.
Howla.
Howla.
Great. Cheers.